Othonoi or Othoni is an island and a former community of the Ionian Islands, Greece. Since the 2011 local government reform, it is part of the municipality of Corfu, of which it is a municipal unit. It is the westernmost point of Greece, located northwest of Corfu. Population 392. It is the biggest of the Diapontia Islands. In the 19th century, the island used to be the capital of the Diapontia Islands municipality, which also included nearby islands of Erekosa, Mathraki, islets and rocks of Diakopo, Diaplo, Karavi, Castrino, Lipso, Ostraco, Plaka, Plata and Trashere. It is 38 kilometers from the Italian coast. History. At the beginning of the second millennium, the island was conquered, alternatively Franks and the Venetians, often attacked by pirates of Barbary and Algeria. Since the end of 1383 until 1386, the domination of Corfu brought by Charles III of Naples. In his letter he stated that on April 19, 1383 granted the usufruct of Othoni, Erekosa, Mathraki, Diapolo and Vido, the knight Theodore Scalatia's fief. In 1537, the Turkish fleet under the command of Greek origin pirate and Admiral Hayred and Barbarossa massacred the inhabitants of the island after a long battle in Stavros district at an altitude of 217 meters. A white stone cross exists until today to commemorate that event. The last settlers of Othoni apparently came from Paxos and Ioannina, Parga and the region of Epirus, dated after the Battle of Naupactus in 1571, when the Turkish fleet was destroyed and the islanders began to move more safely. After the last movement, the residents of Othoni Island colonized the two other small islands, Erekosa and Mathraki. In 1815, the English conquered Othonoi and, as is said, sent to the island 6 soldiers to recover because of the good climate that prevailed. The treaty signed on March 29, 1864 between the three powers and the Kingdom of Greece, the Ionian Islands and Diapontia Islands passed definitively to Greek sovereignty on the 21st of May. On October 5, 1864, the Ionian Parliament realized the purpose of the convocation, solemnly acting union with Greece, one and indivisible state under the King George I of Greece. Name. The first name according to ancient texts of Hesychius of Alexandria was Othronus. The other name meets in Procopius of Scythopolis as well as Theranos by Plinios. Other names were Phi Omnici and Phi Alpha Rho Omicron Sigma, Phi Alpha Nu Omicron Sigma because of the island's lighthouse. There are also views that came from the word Omicron Theta Omicron Nu Eta, because it seems that the local sailors call like that the sails of the boats. Mythology. According to a legend, in the ancient times it was the island of nymph Calypso who lived in a large cave. Odysseus fell in love and remained like a prisoner there for 7 years. Homer called Thyios island Ogygia. Due to his scriptures there was a strong scent of cypress on Ogygia island. Othonoi is a place with many of these trees. Odysseus left the island by a raft and he sank on Sherry of the island of Corfu. This is an extra element that justifies the legend of Othonoi being Ogygia, because of the short distance that separates the two islands. Othonoi early history. Most Othoniots have migrated to Corfu, Athens and abroad because of the unemployment and few exploitable resources. Most men of that time were involved in nautical professions and worked on commercial ships which were operating in every part of Earth. Main occupation of current residents is tourism, fishing and olive production. Previously there has been significant cultivation of vines, for beekeeping and livestock. settlements except Amis, which is the port and the center of the island. There are several small villages with traditional houses: Corio, Daphne, Vitsonsiatica, Argyratica, Deletatica, Damascatica, Papadartica, Masteratica, Casamatica, Binardatica, Pargalatica, Katsoratica, Stavros, etc. In Avlakia is the new made port for ferries, big boats and yachts. Sites to the west of the island, near the Aspre-Amis beach, is the Cave of Calypso. There are many old churches like the Holy Trinity Church at Amis, Panagia Church near Stavros, St. George Church at Corio, Agia Paraskevi and the old stone mill in Damascatica. At the northeast end of Castra Cape hilltop at an altitude of 100 meters near the ruins of the Venetian fortress is the lighthouse of Othoni, which was built in 1872. It is 13 meters height and it is the first lighthouse encountered by those who sail from the north to the Aegean Sea. It emits a white blink every 10 seconds and is visible within 21 nautical miles. It was announced as a permanent exhibit of folklore of the island. Beaches, the most of them are accessible by boat. Also, there is great interest for diving underwater photography because of the peculiar geomorphology of the seabed and the many caves. Other points of interest to the Moshoponticas, Xylosomi, Fyke Bay. Othoni was one of the favorite plants of the famous French naturalist Jacques Cousteau and exploratory vessel Calypso. Trails. The traditional trail, created and used by the first inhabitants, today are ready to use again thanks to the services of the municipality and private initiatives. They give the opportunity for locals and visitors to reach on foot almost every neighborhood and part of the island. Imru Vigli is the highest peak of the island, with a height of over 390 meters, is easily accessible in a short time thanks to the traditional path that leads to the top of the mountain. Visitors can enjoy the beautiful views of the Ionian Sea and Adriatic Sea. Nature. Flora. The island is almost completely covered by trees which produce a small species of olive, the L of the cherry, commonly Lianolia eladilia, with a high content of high-quality oil, which is common in all the Ionian Islands. It is dense because of the Venetian occupation, so most are aged 300 to 400 years, overcoming a height of 7 meters. Also, there are cypresses on almost all mountain slopes and lots of fruit. The tall mulberry and fig are found in nearly all districts and gardens that host many species of fruit and vegetables, and features large cabbage called by Othoniots cramps, as in Cyprus. The most of houses instead of tents or sheds have pergolas with vines or pergolas. Oregano, sage and many other herbs thrive in large number. Fauna. Othoni is the first migratory bird stations in southeastern Europe from Libya and especially turtle doves. There are a sufficient number of grouse and snipe during the winter months. Also Petritis, the Melissa phogos, the Vrachoshaladono, the raven and some species of eagles. There are several hares and rabbits. The usual form is a kind reptile viper. Marine mammals have been observed. The bottlenose dolphin, at least 3 species of sharks, while sporadically near the Cave of Calypso observed movements of the Mediterranean seal Monachus. Also found almost all varieties of marine fauna, such as the white sea bream, red mullet, the snapper, the grouper, the bumpkin, octopus, moray, the stingray, lobster. Remarkable is the presence of barnacles and sea urchins. Zooplankton is in small coves of the island and especially in seaweed is so abundant that at night, when there is calm, it literally lights up the bottom. Access. Coastal transport. The island is accessible by boat with regular services from Corfu, Port Nias, Stefanos Avliotes. The port of Amis, which is the most populous district, has several tourist facilities with small guest houses, restaurants, rent-a-bike store, cafes, police station, community clinic with ambulance and port authority. There is a new port in Avlakia district for several small private yachts and boats. Other transport. The island has a heliport on Lantern Place for emergencies. There were new asphalt roads all around the island, and are extended to all settlements. There is complete electrification and telephone network with internet access.